Hey, what is up everyone? Today I'm taking a look at the Metal Build Gundam Ginamez Repair 3. Have you ever wondered what you would get if you took the best aspects of Gundam Virtue and mixed them with the best aspects of Gundam Ginamez? Well, what you would get is the Gundam Ginamez Repair 3. Now I'm gonna mention right off the bat, you're probably like, what's with the Ginamez? But I always forget, this is Ginamez, that's what it is called. I always tend to resort to Dynamez, because that's what it looks like Dynamite, Dynamez, but it turns out it's more like Ginamez. Either way, this thing looks absolutely phenomenal. I had never heard of it whatsoever until the release of this particular figure. Of course, this is Bandai's Metal Build line of premium mecha figures that come in around 1/100th scale, so they'll always fit in with master grades pretty well. So if you're curious as to what the backstory or the lore behind this particular mecha is, well, it's a little bit on the convoluted side. This is from something called Mobile Suit Gundam 00 Festival 10 Revision. That was a live-action stage play, and it's set after Awakening of the Trailblazer, which was the final Gundam 00 anime movie. This particular mobile suit is not piloted by Lock-On Stratos, and because of the color scheme you might think that this is a Tieria suit, making this the third Tieria video I've done in a row, but that's not the case either. This is actually piloted by a character called Leticia Erda, as in, it's some kind of clone from what I can see of Tieria. So like I mentioned, quite convoluted. Let's check it out. Have you ever wished your anime figures just got up and walked around Toy Story style? Well, now they can! This video is sponsored by Figure Fantasy, the first ever figure-themed idle card game that has already been released in Japan, South Korea, and China. With tons of styles of figures for to collect, all with unique cool styles, different personalities, and characteristics. Everything you could want to build your perfect figure collection, and to make it even better, you can customize your own display area with shelves, cabinets, and more. Decorate it with different themes including space, sci-fi, and medieval castle designs, your own perfect figure heaven. Then take to the streets with your handpicked team of figures for some battles, mixing a combination of strategic battles and idle-style gameplay. Jump into some addictive battles and mix up your team and formation on a 9-grid layout. Fast-paced and tactical, every battle will keep you on your toes. Enter spectator mode to view the battle from different angles and unleash those ultimates. Outside of the battle, you can take a break while your figures grind XP and resources, so you can upgrade your figures to get them ready for the next battle. Collect more figures gacha style by making some orders and getting deliveries from a courier, just like in real life. Crack open the blind box and see what you get. The game's official channels and community have many events and goodies in store for you, so you can support the channel and build your perfect anime figure collection today by downloading Figure Fantasy, link in the description. So jumping right into the overview of absolutely everything that comes in the box, we've got the Ginamez Repair 3 and with a complete armory. So it'll take me too long to go through all of this, so we've got a whole bunch of swappable hands, beam sabers, the GN bazooka, a pair of GN shields, and over in the other piece of packaging, we've got a full stand and base, with some extra arms for holding up all of that crazy armaments. But yeah, as usual, let's check out the Ginamez first. So jumping into the aesthetics and starting off with that full 360-degree spin on the Metal Build Ginamez Repair 3 is an absolute feast for the eyes. There's so much to say here. The paint on this is multi-textured. We've got some pearlescence, metallics, some nice matte white, and of course the die-cast frame is completely bouncing away from all of that with that unmistakable glint of metal. We've got clear parts for the condensers in the arms, the GN drive in the chest. The head looks absolutely fantastic. The detailing is perfect with the metallic paint on the head camera and eyes. And honestly, I'm not seeing any of the typical Tamashii Nations issues here whatsoever. I'm scouring this, looking everywhere, checking it all. I don't see any little nubby kind of bite marks or paint flubs anywhere. The detail on this is ridiculous. Honestly, this looks like it might just be sheer perfection. No matter where you zoom in on this figure, you get so much. Even in that area, we've got metallic, that tiny little glint of green perfectly in there. The decals are perfection, and we've got that little circular segment up top in metallic. crazy awesome. The decals in here even extend to underneath the GN condensers like the 002 right there. The warning is completely legible on the arm. Actually, you can super zoom in on those decals and you can pretty much read absolutely everything. Nice. And on top of that, we have a bunch of nice hidden detail inside of this. For example, like the GN missile container right here, all in nice orange inside of the knee. These thrusters do move when we actually open stuff up like this. Just check that out, the detail. And honestly, I've scoured this thing for any of those typical kind of nub mishaps and stuff. We've got something that's almost like one on the hand right there. The GN condensers do have some visible mold lines, but besides that, the quality on this is obscene. Let's check out that armory that it comes with. So quickly jump back to the beginning of the video, and there's absolutely everything that comes in this box, so let's check it all out one by one. So the first things I really wanted to try out with this particular figure are these right here. These are the GN shields, but these actually work both like Jinomez's original GN shields and the boosters, or should I say the cannons, that were up on Virtue's shoulders. So this can pop open like this in order to work just like the big old GN field generators up on the shoulders of the Virtue. That isn't all that's going on. We have a handle round bottom right here that pops out like so. That's for something I'll mention in a minute, but these can also pop open just like so. Swing open here and here. And what we've got inside of that is a GN cannon. Once again, like the big old cannons we would have seen up on Virtue's shoulders. So that's how they work right there. Pretty cool. And just like you'd expect with a metal build, there isn't just one way to use this right here. So you can pop this off, flip this over, pop this on, up, slide that in, then up here. And now we've got a full-on shield that can be held in the hand. So in order to attach this as a shield, you just pop it into the hands. These are kind of rubbery fingered, so it just pops in. We then have an adapter we can pop into that slot in the forearm, and then this all just connects together just like so. There is what the Jinomez Repair 3 looks like with that shield attached. And honestly, this is one badass looking shield, and that's not even the primary use for this particular thing. This is about to get a whole lot cooler. So in here we have two large shields and two small ones. By removing this little segment right here, you expose a hole in that rig up on its back. The smaller shields go into these little slots, and the big ones go into that hole we just exposed. So underneath this mega butt booster back here, we do have these two little hard points. And the options we have are these particular arm segments. These are die-cast metal, they pop on like so. You can pop two of those on and it'll look a little something like that right there, but I'm just gonna go with what they have in the instructions. The other option we have is a beam saber attachment point. So you can have your beam saber sticking out like that so it can be grabbed or down like this. I will mention there are two of these, so if you wanted to pop one on that side, you could. And then that mega butt flap can just reattach on just like so. We've got a pair of beam saber blades in here, so you can attach them on to the beam sabers like this. And I will mention, the handles on these look phenomenal. We've got a little bit of metallic silver up top there. Attaching these is using those removable hands. We do have some at an angle, which I love, for some over-the-top slashing or stabbing poses. There's something so restrictive about the usual hands we get with some figures and Gunpla, which means it can only really be held at a right angle to the arm. This is nice, this is natural, and this looks great. So next up, we've got the main weapon in here, which is the GN Bazooka. Here it is side by side with the one we would have seen from Virtue, the Master Grade we looked at yesterday. And according to the lore, this is using new technology, and that's why it's slimmer and apparently more lightweight than the original one that would have been used by Virtue. Just like the Repair 3, this is ridiculously nicely detailed. We've got the same attention to detail when it comes to all of those decals on there and the different types of paint, including the metallic on the business end. As for what this can do, it's pretty much what we saw at the Master Grade. This can swing forward and back up here. The handle here can tilt forward like this so you can get the angle that you want. It opens up just by sliding this segment down like so. The rear segment can also pull back like this. We've got two flip out handles on either side, and you can extend these gold rail segments from inside up top and down the bottom like that for the burst mode. This attaches into the rubberized hands just like before, but I just noticed there's a rotating handle on this. The actual handle itself rotates. Interesting. But the coolest aspect about this, and something that would have been nice to see on the Master Grade Virtue, but I guess it wouldn't make any sense because the particular part isn't there, is this little adapter. What that actually does is, when you pop it into the hand like this, well, that there would not be enough to support this. So just like we would see with Season 1 00 mobile suits, this clips into that segment on the forearm, and now it is pretty much rock solid. Due to the nature of the metallic frame in this, the die-cast frame, and that very nicely designed attachment point right there, that means this can really support this massive weapon without any kind of worries of it falling over. That is obscenely cool. The next thing we have in here is a full stand, which is always a extremely nice touch. So we've got the bottom, then the two arms that plug in here, and then here. So the arm on this is the usual one we always get, which has a bunch of locking, moving mechanisms to give us pretty much every angle that we want. These are great stands, but the way it attaches is via a funny little adapter. So you actually have to put this all together like this, and then it pops on up here, just like so, and only then can the Ginamas attach. So we've got a whole bunch of other stands in here, like this one right here, and this identical one right here. They also come with a set of claw ends like these, which can pop on just like so, grabby grabby. And to use those, we need these kind of interesting adapter segments here, one of which attaches like a little intermediary part into this hole, and then this attaches into that, and now you can pop the claw in. The other one can then just pop up here, and then do exactly the same thing. Getting the Repair 3 onto this is simple, just on with this. So getting Ginamas up onto the stand is pretty simple, just drop them on like so. This is what it looks like attached. So once again, this has absolutely no issue holding up even its heaviest weapon, and that is up on the stand and everything. This is absolutely incredible looking. So last up is posing that big old GN bazooka in the burst mode. And I actually thought this would be a little harder than it is. First off, you just transform that bazooka into burst mode. Make sure you've got two holding hands for your Repair 3. Open up the armor segment that's just in front of the GN drive in the chest, and then just try and get it all into position, and this works quite well. I thought this might be loose due to the instructions, but it is not. It holds on perfectly all by itself. This is mainly because of that hatch on the chest, which kind of counterbalances the want of the GN bazooka to tip downwards, so it just holds it in position. But if you're not comfortable leaving it on your shelf like this, the instructions does recommend using one of those big old arms, but I've found no need for using them so far, and at all. When not in use, this can be mounted on multiple parts, at least two that the instructions say. That is this side armor bit arm thing we would have put on earlier on, which can move this around a lot. Talk about firing from the hip. And the other option is by sticking this adapter up here on where the GN shield would have been. You can actually pop that up there just like so. So that can also swing up and fire just like that as well. Handy. So now moving into the articulation, and as usual from that head down. Up at the head we've got that awesome sniping sensor. Just pull down the V-fin like so. And there it is. We've got one hell of a giggity goo going on in here. So there's the head looking all the way up, double jointed. There it is looking all the way down. I think that is treble jointed. We've got side to side, and it's on a ball joint, so we've got a little bit of pivot. Clavicle antennas can pop up just like so. Like we've seen, this hatch in the chest can open to show the GN drive. In that usual 00 Season 1 kind of way, the chest segment here does allow for additional articulation on top of what we've got at the shoulder. So there's an example of the arm all the way up, very nice, all the way down. That can spin all the way around, but we've got a whole bunch of jazz back there getting in the way. Shoulder armor can fucking fall off. Full spin right here, a little bit stiff. A double jointed bend at the elbow, like that. As well as the wrist joint, we've also got this little bit of a moving bit. The wrist has rotation and flexion like so. As for the ab crunch we have in here, this is very nice. It moves all the way forward like so, holds extremely tight. There it is all the way back then, so one more time. Forward, back. The rotation at the waist will get you from here 2 here. The absolutely beautiful front skirting armors can swing up like so, and on the bottom we've got this little switch, which allows the business end to stick out like so. So once again, there it is all the way in, and that is it, popping out. Whoa, these are premium. These can also swing out to the sides. The mega butt flap here is even more premium, so these can swing out to the... Whoa! That's due to the fact that we've got that arm section there. That'll push it off. Actually, while it's off, these can move outwards like so, move up and down independent to each other. We've got some more of those nice shifting thrusters on the bottom and on the top. How nice is that? Down to the legs now, we do have a shifting mechanism in the waist, which moves both legs forward and down ever so slightly. There then is the kick all the way up to the front, blocked a little bit by the front skirting. Same out to the back, it is blocked a lot by that mega butt flap. Of course, if this wasn't attached, that can actually kick all the way out, so it is just a issue with the armor. And as for the splits, not a bother on them. We've got a spin at the upper leg. It does not spin all the way, but it spins more than enough. Yeah, there we go. This far into the review, and there's that typical Tamashii Nations little bit of crap hanging off of it. Easy to fix, but it is there. Next up then, we've got a double jointed bend at the knee right here. Very, very nice. I lost something. A shoulder. Once again, that missile container can open up just like so. And we've got a little bit of a pivot to those missiles, ready to shoot off. We've got moving ankle armor at the front and at the back. And when that foot is on the ground, there it is pivoting all the way to the back, so not too bad. There it is then to the front. We do have a nice bend at the toe here. This looks like the lower segment is falling off. It's not. That is actually part of the bend to the front. That is so nice. And the side to side is incredibly stiff, I might add. So I'm not going to actually be able to bend that when it's on the ground. So we get something kind of like that. So up the wing segments now, and these are incredibly stiff because of the die-cast parts, but these can move up like so. These ones can flip up as well, and because of the layout of the armor here, these can move out and forward, but again, extremely stiff. Oh, there we go, we got another little bit of dodgy Tamashii Nations quality there on the back of the V-fin. I see a nub and another nub. Bandai, don't be doing that. But yeah, those shields can swing forward and then come down just like we would have seen with the original Gundam Dynames. So anyway, that is it for the review of the Metal Build Gundam Dynames Repair 3. And what can I say? This is an absolute beast of a figure. Sure, there are a couple of negative aspects, minor ones. We have a couple of mold lines here and there, and I did find a couple of those typical Tamashii Nations little nubs on it. But besides that, the paintwork is phenomenal. We've got so many different colors: pearlescent, metallic, matte, gloss, and even that unmistakable beautiful glint of die-cast metal. The accessories in here are phenomenal and can be used in a whole host of different ways, which is a very Metal Build staple, and this thing's articulation is off the charts, and with that low center of gravity that it has from the metal frame as well as the stability, this can pull off whatever pose you want and hold it, even holding that gigantic, massive GM bazooka. I highly recommend it. As always, thank you so much for watching, and special thanks to Figure Fantasy for sponsoring the video, and as always, I will see you next time. Thank you so much to each and every one of you guys for watching these videos. Without you, this channel would not be possible. And my special thanks to those helping out over on the channel memberships and over on Patreon. So that includes Craig Jerry, Caleb Engelhardt, Sean T. Van Fawn, Global Frequency Studios, Lauren Seahack, Joseph Kuklunk, Mr. Winter, Forsetti, Joe, and Orgy 59061.